Welcome to another episode coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com, offer of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. Like, share this episode, tell me what you think. And I would appreciate it if you left me a review in iTunes. So today, I have another wonderful guest. She found me on Twitter last year. So we've been having a couple messages, exchanging back and forth. I thought she'd be a good guest. We could have a nice conversation. And she's married. She's there in an open relationship. They've been married for a long time, you know. So let's get into it. Okay, so where are you from?
I'm from Western North Carolina.
Oh, okay, that's cool. You know, so how'd you find out about this thing some people call the lifestyle? Because I remember I didn't know there was such thing as a lifestyle. So how'd you find out about it?
No, I didn't either. So actually what happened is my husband before I met him, when he was younger, he was dating a girl and they had gone out to dinner, and she was sitting there talking to him, and she goes, "Do you see that guy sitting over there?" And he goes, "Yeah." She said, "That's my husband and he wants to watch us have sex." And he was like, "Whoa." And so they ended up renting a hotel room. He had sex with this man's wife, and, you know, he was younger, you know, he's in his early 20s, and it kind of freaked him out. So that was like a one and done for him. But I think that kind of, you know, made him start to think about some things. And then when we first were married, I had, before him, I had a boyfriend for, you know, several years. And, you know, when I started dating my husband, I broke it off with him, and he kind of started messaging me and talking to me. And so, you know, we have a very open relationship. We talk, you know, about everything and communicate. So I told him, and I was kind of freaked out about it. And he was more like turned on that this guy, you know, was still interested and wanted me. And, you know, so then, you know, that just opened some conversations and led to some talking. And, you know, we talked about it. We fantasized about it for years. And then it was one night we just like decided, you know, fuck it. Let's see what it's about.
That's interesting, because your husband experience was very similar to mine, but the only difference is I was in the Navy at the time when it happened. Yeah, and I didn't even think. The only thing I was thinking, that this weirdo married dude wants me to sleep with his wife, and I'm like, what? So I kind of just waved it off and left, you know. And until I saw him again a couple months later, same scenario again, and I'm like, that's when I started asking him questions like, why you want me to do that with your wife? You can't satisfy her, or what? Because, you know, at the time I'm 21 at the time.
Right.
And I'm in station in Japan. So I didn't understand that, you know, until I ended up going to their house. And, you know, some people say, you know, the rest is history. But I didn't think I didn't think they'd call it anything. I just thought that, hey, this is just what some people do. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like a one and done type thing.
Yeah. And until, you know, I was in port on the base, and the ship would pull out, and I would see wives come out, or just people come out in general that I never seen before. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And then I got invited to another kind of like adult party, and the majority were women, a handful of guys, and I'm like, what the hell?
Yes, and that's one thing, you know, being in the lifestyle is you'd be surprised at how many people you come across that you know that make your jaw drop. You just, you know, it's like, I didn't know how all of this came to, you know, that I didn't know that that so many people experience the same thing that I do. You know, it surprises me still. I'm still like, oh my gosh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know some guys have similar experience, but I mean that I know, but I don't know if a lot, you know, because, and you know, it's not like I bother to ask, you know, because that would be a little weird.
Well, and we live in a small town.
Oh,
so,
okay.
You know, it's a lot of, you know, when you're searching for things, you run across some people that, you know, you're very surprised, because like me, I you know, am well educated. I was only with 2 other guys before my husband. I was married at 21. I live in the Bible Belt. I grew up very religious, you know, and I know that there's been a few people that have just been like very, 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 very surprised, you know, that's the things that I'm into.
Well, yeah, you grew up in a small town just like me. I'm from the Myrtle Beach area, South Carolina. Okay. So, but it's small, but not that small. You know, right. I think most people you would know directly or indirectly. You know? Sure. Yeah. But still, even then, everything is kind of like, just don't talk about it. It's like, exactly. That's like the mentality. You know? I know. I heard something somewhere, and it said everybody has a freak flag, but some just fly it higher than others. Yeah. Exactly. And the funny thing is, you know, I have uncles that's in the like 70s and 80s and 90s. So they'll tell me some of their stories if I bother to ask every once in a while, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Because you know they lived in New York for like, I don't know, 50, 60 years. Oh wow. And they moved back home now, so they'll every once in a while they'll say something that'll slip out. I'm like, what? You know, so first off, how'd you find me online? You know, I know you're on Twitter and everything. I think it was Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was Twitter. You just saw me on, was this a feed or what? I think so. Yes. I post random things, different places, and I, you know, do a lot of like networking and things on Twitter. So it was probably through Twitter. Okay. So was your first experience, did you go online first or were you offline? We were online. So that's where we meet the majority of people. There's a lot of fantasies and things. We have what we call a fuck it list. Yeah. And so we put all our fantasies on the fuck it list, and we try to, you know, when we meet different people, we try to say, okay, where will that fit? Will it check any boxes off our bucket list? What are some pros to this? But my first experience, we got on a website. I believe it was Adult Friend Finder, and it was back like 2008, 2009. And we just kind of were talking to people, and we found a couple that we really liked. They lived about an hour away. And we would talk to them. You know, she texted me. He would text my husband.
And we would sometimes do like a webcam thing where we watched them have sex, they watched us have sex. And it just kind of, we didn't meet them for a long, long time. And they were more experienced in the lifestyle. I know she had a boyfriend that she saw regularly, and maybe more than one, I'm not sure. But they were pretty experienced. And we were sitting there at home one night, and they had mentioned coming to our house, and our kids weren't there. And so I looked at my husband, and I was like, let's do it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just do it. And I was like, I can't even think about it because I'll get nervous and I'll back out. Let's just do it. So it was very spontaneous, but we had been talking to this couple, and actually that wasn't the first couple we met. Now that I think about it, the first couple we met, we had talked to for a while, and they lived about 6 hours away, I want to say. But in our area, they had honeymooned. So they came back to visit where they honeymooned for their anniversary, and we set up a meeting. And it was awkward, and we all went to dinner, and it was awkward and uncomfortable, and nobody really knew what to say, and nobody really knew what to do because they had never been with another couple either. Oh. So they ended up leaving, and we ended up leaving, and there was just, a hug at the end, and our phones weren't working well in the area, and we were about halfway home and finally got about 10 texts. Hey, we really liked you guys. Will y'all come back to our hotel? We really, but we had already called off the sitter and everything. We were on our way home. So we're like, sorry. And that was, that was kind of that as far as that. But, so that one never went anywhere. But.
Oh, okay. So you're in the men and women?
Yes.
Okay. So wait a minute. How'd you know you were in the women?
I had always been curious. I never would have crossed that threshold. And that first couple that we were with that came to the house, they were, she was very much just very sexual, very out there. And I know, like, we had a sign, like, okay, once we meet, if I put my hand on your leg and you don't scoot away, then that's telling me it's okay. And I was like, okay, all right, I can do that. And like I said, she was experienced. And so that night, that was the first woman that I had ever been with.
Okay. So do y'all usually go for couples most of the
time? We've actually kind of gone away. It's so hard to find a couple. Yeah. We've gone away from a lot of the couples because where we live, there's not a whole lot of like meet and greets and things like that. And we've never been to one of those, and we've never been to a party or a club. That's one thing that's on our bucket list. We would love to do it, but we haven't had the time and taken the opportunity to do that yet. But I don't know.
Yeah, I've been to a couple clubs and parties in here in Atlanta. A lot of those people are too old for me.
well, the couples too. I mean, the chance that I'm very picky. I'm less selective with the guys that I play with than with the girls.
Why is that?
I don't know, but I'm very picky about the girls. And so it is hard to find a couple where everybody meshes.
Yeah.
The chances that I'm going to be attracted to both the guy and the girl, and the same goes for all four people. It's just, we haven't met a couple yet that really everybody just kind of meshes.
Yeah, I was about to say that it would probably be more difficult to meet couples, because one person might be feeling it, the other say he's okay or she's okay, or.
And the longer we've been in the lifestyle, it's about quality over quantity. We're not out there to sleep with everybody out there. And if we're not feeling it, I mean, we just tell each other, and nobody has to take one for the team, because we've done that, and that does not end up well. I mean, you can't take one for the team. You gotta all be on board.
Yeah. A lot of times, a lot of couples that I've met, they just want to run through people. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, yeah. By the time they realized that it didn't work with us, they were already talking to 4 other people, and that's 4 other dicks set up. Yeah, exactly. And that's not what we're into. We're into, I mean, if we find somebody, we're going to keep them around as long as we can,
Yeah, that's how I am, but I've found the opposite to be true for a lot of couples. Yeah, so, and as far as the, there's some, at least lately, I've found that there's some clubs near, like, in South Carolina, near the border, and in Pineville, places like that, places that I would never thought. And then you have, now, of course, when I lived in Atlanta, they were everywhere, But mostly, I found that most of those people are older than me. So I'm like, I'm not really.
And that's what, I mean, when we started, so like I said, I was married at 21. I had my first child when I was 23. So it was, we had young kids, and we were still, we would get babysitters and kind of go out, and we were by far the youngest, people on the websites and things like that. We were always meeting, older couples. And now it's kind of strange because we're both in our 40s now, and it feels kind of weird talking to somebody in their 20s, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't, I think the youngest I would go is 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how?
Well, I listened to your podcast a few weeks ago or whatever about the couple that just liked the younger guys.
Oh yeah, the BC Flyers.
Yes, and so my husband and I actually had a conversation with that. We're like, well, maybe we should try it. So. Yeah,
I think they prefer younger. I don't think or at least younger than them anyway, because they're older than me. I think they're like early 50s. They're older than me. Right. They might not look like it, but they're older than me.
And see, and I have a hard time accepting my age, that I'm as old as I am, and I don't want to be considered like a cougar yet. I'm not there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah. So how far have y'all traveled to meet a couple?
We stay local. We'll go, an hour away or so. But we stay pretty local. We don't, we've talked to people. There was one person several months ago that we talked about coming up from like Louisiana, but they were going to come to us.
Oh, wow.
Because of our, he was an OnlyFans content maker.
Oh, okay.
So it would have been just for content.
Yeah.
And he was coming up in the area anyway, but that fell through. He wasn't able to get his flight changed. But, we like to stay local because, like I said, we're about quality over quantity.
Yeah. And
if we're traveling 3 hours, it's going to be quantity. We're not going to be able to get with that person very often. We're not going to, our lives are too busy for us to drive, hours and hours away just to play, especially when there's people, locally that check the boxes that we want.
Yeah, exactly. There's some people that fly from East Coast to West Coast.
No, we don't do that.
Jesus Christ.
Now, we're going to Vegas in September, and I'm super excited about that. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Yeah, wait a minute. I can't let you skip over something now. You said y'all do content, so y'all record?
Not yet. I have not put anything, me playing with anybody on OnlyFans yet.
Okay.
But I'm looking into it.
Okay.
And I've heard that Fansly is a better place to go for that. So.
Yeah, that's what I was told by a BC Flyers couple.
Yes, that's where I heard that. So, I have a Fansly account, but I'm not super familiar with Fansly. Yeah. So I've just been posting things to OnlyFans, but that's something that I'll be figuring out.
Yeah, I always wondered about people that collaborate with that have OnlyFans or just getting started or whatever. I wonder how do they determine who to collaborate with? I always wondered.
See, and that's one thing. This person reached out to me, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I always thought about that. Because, you know, they're doing the same thing like people do on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. So I'm not sure how that works. There's someone that I've talked to, you know, pretty regularly, and she actually lives in a different country, and she does a lot of collaboration, and she has gotten to where she will not meet anyone that is not already on OnlyFans and won't collaborate with her.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, she's pretty intense, and I think she does pretty well.
Oh, that's good. So have you ever met anybody that have went to parties and clubs?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have. And we met a couple that throws parties and things like that. We went out to dinner with them, and we really have had one experience in the lifestyle where it was just one of those, like, what the fuck did I get myself into type situations.
Oh, damn.
And we found out that couple was actually going to their parties. And at that point we were like, oh, nope, we're out.
Oh, wait a minute. They didn't do that. They didn't pull that trick on y'all that they'll say, hey, we having a party and y'all follow them there. And it's just y'all.
Oh, no. We haven't been to anything like that.
Oh, okay.
We are definitely planners.
That's that Hollywood shit.
No, we have to plan things out.
Okay. That's good. So, how did you and your husband, how did y'all determine in the beginning that y'all gonna be open?
It was just, like I said, we did the webcamming and we talked to the couple, and we just we got on the websites to just kind of get our feet wet.
No, but even before that.
It was just one of those things. We had talked about it, like when we were having sex, it would come up and we would talk about it, and it was hot, and, you know, because we have a lot of talk when we have sex. I mean, we are very open about what we like, what we don't like. We talk about everything. I mean, he's my best friend, so he knows everything. But it was just over the years, you know, he told me about his situation, what happened with that couple. You know, I told him about, you know, my ex-boyfriend, you know, reaching out to me, and it was just a long time talking. It was, you know, probably years of talking. And then it was like, let's pay to do this, and let's just see what's out there. And we might not, you know, at first it was like, well, we won't even do anything. We just want to see. We're curious. We just want to see. And then it was just kind of, we kept pushing a little bit further each time, you know?
Yeah.
Because we weren't, except for that time the couple came to our house, we never really like jumped full in. It was like, I'm going to stick my toe in the water, and then, you know, maybe my foot, and maybe a little bit more next time.
Yeah. Yeah, first time, I think the first club I went to, I didn't do anything. It was more like a kinky club.
Yeah.
It wasn't really based on swinging and open couples at all, you know. So yeah, and the first time I done something was with a close friend of mine. She took me to a house party, and she knew everybody there, you know, and she was cool. She's super cool. And that was like my first experience at like a house party.
Right.
You know? So yeah, sometimes I think for me it depends on my comfort level, you know, really, you know. And one of the problems, I don't know if I wouldn't call it a problem, but my thing is, it's very difficult for me to get comfortable with somebody that I just met. It's usually hit or miss. And the funny thing is, a lot of times, even before I show up in person, even before I see the person in the flesh, I can pretty much sense how it's going to go.
Oh yeah. And that's why, you know, we do a lot of talking. We do a lot of messaging. We do a lot of texting. We, you know, between my husband and I, between the other person, I mean, there is a lot of communication before we meet. And we have a good idea. You know, if we meet, then you've made it past the first cuts, you know, because attraction and a connection has to be there. I mean, they have to be there. And we've met probably 25 people we haven't played with, you know, and maybe we've played with 10.
Oh, that's good.
So, I mean, you know, we are very selective.
Yeah, those are good numbers. So what's up with Vegas? Y'all have any plans, or y'all just gonna, you know?
We are just going. We're just going. We've been before.
Okay.
Before we were in the lifestyle, we went and we had a great time. And I always say it's like college for adults, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not a gambler, but it's just a good time.
Yeah, I went to Vegas last year for the first time. It's a very interesting place.
It definitely is.
Yeah, but if you don't gamble, it's really all about gambling and shows. Really.
I like to just go around and have conversations.
Yeah, you can do that too.
And get the stories from people, and, you know, drink a little bit and dance a little bit and just have fun.
Yeah, and you can people doing a lot of tricks on the streets. All that stuff. That stuff's cool, you know. Yeah. A little hot during the day.
Well, the last time we went, it was early spring. So this is gonna be pretty hot.
Yeah, and, you know, I didn't know, they said Vegas gets cold. I said, really? They said, yeah, it gets cold here. Oh, okay. Huh? Yeah. So if people wanted to find you, where would they go to?
Okay, so I am on OnlyFans. I am Ashley Asheville 40.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm at Ashley Asheville on Twitter.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. Tell me what you think. Until next time, we're out. Peace. If you like this video, share this video. And if you want to support my channel, click the thanks tab and leave me a donation. 2, 5, 10.